everyone. It's Wednesday morning, and I'm 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm. Heck of a way to run a vacation, right? I'm on vacation this week. I'm not on TV this week, but with the active weather unfolding before Christmas time, it's impossible for me to kind of not pay attention to this and bring you guys up to speed. We put out our initial snow forecast online this morning, and we're going to talk about that in this video and much, much more. So let's get right to it. And first of all, just kind of zoom out and take a look at the broad view. Today's going to be a decent day. Today's a good day to run some errands, do some semi-last-minute Christmas shopping. Our winter storm is starting to kind of gather out here, but it's way out here. We're going to be under a little dry pocket today, some sunshine for a time before clouds win out as we go into the afternoon, and today will be the best day until a handful of days after Christmas. All right, in the middle of the night last night, the National Weather Service office in Cleveland did hoist a winter storm watch for pretty much their entire area. And in our television viewing area, in our market, that includes Trumbull County and Mahoning County. The Pittsburgh Weather Service office covers Columbiana, Lawrence, and Mercer. They have not put out any winter products just yet. My suspicion is it'll be a winter weather advisory for Columbiana on south. Maybe something a little bit beefier than that for their northern counties. But nothing yet from the Pittsburgh National Weather Service office. But don't fret. You will get in on some sort of winter product of some kind probably before today is through. Let's talk about the sequence of events, because our thoughts have changed a little bit on some of the details, especially later in the day Friday. But one thing that has not changed is the idea that Friday morning is going to be real tricky. We're going to see rain showers pushing in on Thursday. Nothing tremendous here, a little light rain at times Thursday and into Thursday night. But then, right here, this looks a little faster than it did 24 to 48 hours ago. I think the transition from rain to snow is likely to occur a few hours before daybreak now on Friday. A couple of days ago, it looked like this would happen around daybreak. Now this looks more like 4 a.m. when our cold front rolls through and rain instantly changes to snow, and the temperature almost instantly drops several degrees. We're going to go from the upper 30s down into the teens in just a couple of hours, first thing Friday morning. And when I mean first thing, I mean 4 or 5 a.m. So this will be important for early morning commuters Friday morning. Anyone working the overnight shift Thursday night into Friday morning, conditions will be much different by the time the sun comes up Friday morning than they were earlier in the night. And for a lot of our viewing area, this may be the worst of the whole storm as far as snow and road impacts. I'm going to show you why in a second, but everyone's going to get this snow Friday morning early, and it's going to be impactful everywhere. This is going to stick, and we're going to have a rapid freeze up. So the dampness around from the rain Thursday into Thursday night is going to freeze very quickly, and then we're going to get an accumulation of snow, probably something on the order of 1 to 3 inches of snow first thing Friday morning as a region-wide expectation. So I would expect pretty dicey conditions across most of the area as Friday gets underway. Now, as we go towards mid-morning Friday, we're going to stop the clock here at, say, 10 a.m. I think the snow at this point has tapered off. There's going to be some flurries around. It's going to be just brutally cold and windy and just no fun to be outside, and everything's still going to be slick. But the snowfall intensity, the snow falling from the sky, is not going to be as high. It's not going to be as intense as it was earlier on in the morning. The question for us is, what happens after this point? This is one model, the NAM model, and it would strongly suggest that we get into a dry pocket Friday afternoon, and then a lot of us will just kind of stay in that dry pocket for the rest of Friday. This would be good news for anyone traveling later in the day Friday into Friday night in our immediate viewing area. Now, lake effect is a sure bet along the lakeshore, I-90, Ashtabula County, Erie, up into the Buffalo area. But the question for us is, I think most of the lake effects can be too far to the north, but will there be some sort of backlash kind of band of snow that pivots back in that's kind of unrelated to lake effect and impacts things once again in our viewing area later Friday into Friday night? We have a low confidence on that right now. This model, which is the NAM model, kind of hints that that's unlikely, but some of the other modeling is a little more ambitious, we shall say. This is the European model, valid 7 o'clock Friday evening. Taken literally, it would suggest that while lake effect is ongoing up here, down to about I-80, we can see another period of snow if you take this model literally. And it has the support of some other modeling. Again, the farther south you are, though, the lower the odds of seeing this kind of second round of snow later Friday. So if you're watching from East Liverpool, Lisbon, East Palestine, Hanoverton, points on south, maybe you don't see a whole lot after that initial burst of snow Friday morning with our cold front. So this is a low confidence thing. We will be fine-tuning that forecast certainly as we go through today and into tonight and tomorrow. One thing for sure, though, everyone's going to get in on the cold no matter how much snow you're going to get. And let's be honest, it's going to be hard to measure this snow in a lot of the area because of the wind. You're going to have, bare spots because the wind blew it all away, and then you're going to have spots where the snow tries to pile up and drift, especially if you get a few inches because of the wind. So measuring this is going to be no easy chore, but everyone's going to get in on the cold. So by daybreak Friday, when a lot of us are getting up Friday morning, look at these temperatures. Yikes, and these are the air temperatures. Wind chills will be below this. And as we go into Friday afternoon, it's just not going to move much. We're going to be in the single digits for air temperatures for most of the area Friday afternoon. It's going to be harsh outside. Snow or not, it's going to be harsh outside. And, when you get this cold, treatment on roads does not work all that effectively. We're going to have a hard time pre-treating roads because of the wet weather Thursday into Thursday night. And then salt doesn't do a whole lot when it's 2 degrees outside. It just isn't that effective. And so even though you might not see much additional snow in parts of the area after that initial round Friday morning, with this kind of cold, surfaces can stay slick for a lot of the day. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. Even though we might not see much snow falling from the sky later Friday, especially less traveled roads, country roads, you know the idea. They can certainly be slick starting Friday morning and taking us into the upcoming weekend because road treatment just is not going to be super effective. And then, I'm just going to keep on playing this through Saturday morning, Christmas Eve morning. It's still in the single digits, and we might be lucky to see 10 or 11 Saturday afternoon. That is about it. All right, let's talk about the snowfall forecast. This is a zoomed out view for those who may be traveling in the pre-Christmas period. There's certainly going to be a lot more snow in the lake effect prone areas of Michigan, northern Indiana, the lakeshore east of Cleveland over towards Ashtabula, Erie, up into Buffalo along I-90. Travel will be almost impossible at times going between Erie and Buffalo on I-90. In our kind of more immediate area, this is going to be a tricky call once you're down in here. Confidence a little higher off to the north that you'll see a handful of inches as a storm total between late tonight, or late Thursday night, I should say, and Saturday night. And places like Toledo will do well. Cleveland will do well. Columbus is, kind of a tougher forecast right now. And certainly southeast Ohio will be in kind of a relative minimum as far as snowfall accumulations. And then zooming way in, and again, you're going to see these numbers, and everybody kind of looks at the higher number, right? So let's not suggest that everyone in this blue area is going to see 6. Most people will probably not see 6. But we're going to leave the range kind of wide open as our initial forecast until we have better certainty as to what will happen Friday afternoon into Friday night. If you don't see much in the way of what we call backlash snow Friday afternoon, Friday night, you'll probably get a couple or a few inches Friday morning, and that might be about it if you're far enough to the south. And you'll have a hard time getting much more than 3 as a storm total. Confidence a little higher in that second round off to the north, so we're going to include some higher totals up here. But again, we're not saying everyone in the purple is going to get 10. There's a range for a reason. 6 to 10 is our kind of first stab. We're going to adjust this map certainly at least a couple of times between now and first thing Friday morning as we get more confident in the idea that Friday afternoon might be relatively dry, snow-free in some of our area. Again, one thing for sure, the wind chills and the wind is going to be nasty. Wind chills, I showed you the air temperatures. Wind chills by Friday afternoon, 15, 20 below. They kind of stay there all night Friday night into Saturday as well. Be ready for this. Everyone's going to focus on the snow because that's what everybody does. But by far and away, and we've been saying this all along, the biggest impacts for our area, what the storm will be remembered by in our viewing area is going to be the wind and the cold. And you don't want to lose power in this kind of situation because, losing power for an hour is a pain and it's inconvenient. You don't want to have that. But if you lose power for several hours when it's this cold, yikes, that's no fun. And so just be ready for it. Make sure everything's charged up. If you have kind of a drafty window or some kind of areas that could use a little bit of help keeping the warmth in. Seal those cracks around doors and windows in case you lose power. And of course, never use a generator indoors if you are going to be doing some traveling, especially north and northwest of our viewing area, heading to Cleveland, heading to Mansfield, Toledo, Dayton, Indianapolis, Detroit, places like that. You're going to want to be aware that you could be running into some real issues at times with this storm. Make sure your car is equipped with all the stuff you need. Generally speaking, make sure that your car is winterized because again, it's going to be cold no matter what, no matter how much snow you're going to get. It's going to be really cold. Your tire pressure is going to be really low. Make sure that you add a few PSIs to those tires over the next 24 hours or so, because when you get temperatures down in the single digits and below zero, that tire pressure can get pretty low. Make sure you have plenty of gas in your tank to avoid fuel line freeze-ups, and also, of course, if you're going to be traveling, if for some reason you run into some real trouble on snowy roads and you need to sit there in your car for a while, you want to make sure that you can have the heat running and therefore have enough gas in your car. So some common sense things. We're going to be fine-tuning the forecast, of course, and keeping you up to date online and on air over the next couple of days. Again, the snow numbers are a first stab at this. They're not etched in stone. They're not going to be the final forecast, but just to give you some expectations, this is going to be a big windstorm and a huge Arctic outbreak before Christmas, and that's what this storm will be known for. There will be enough snow in that rapid freeze-up, though, to cause some problems in a lot of our area, especially Friday morning. All right, that's it for me for now. Look for me to update you on social media throughout this Wednesday, and make sure you're tuning into 21 News at midday and this evening at 5, 6, and 11 p.m.